What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the episode of The Lawyer You Know. And today we're going to be breaking down Bill Reed's interview, Karen Reed's dad, about what Karen Reed is doing right now. But in this interview, Bill Reed sends a message to everyone in Norfolk County, to everyone that may have been involved in quote unquote pinning it on the girl, and even sends a message to you and me and everybody out there. When you go through difficult things in your life, you're not going to want to miss this interview. Bill Reed is always a great watch to me. I feel like I learn from him and see what it is to be like a strong dad dealing with a difficult situation, but also confidence and also somebody who's very competent and understands what's going on and what somebody needs to do to be successful. So there's a lot going on in this interview. It's only about 15 minutes long. We're going to watch together, break it down, see what we can learn about the process, what's happening, how Karen Reed's doing, what she's feeling kind of in the background, because I do think a lot of times when Bill Reed does an interview, it gives us a window and an insight into what Karen Reed is thinking and what Karen Reed is doing without her actually doing the interview herself. So let's get to the interview now. And make sure you guys all hit that like button if you haven't already. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get alerts on all future videos. So here's Bill Reed. And let's take a listen to what he has to say and the message he very clearly wants to send.
So Bill, tell me, since Karen's acquittal, how has life been for the Reed family?
It's been in one way, a sense of fresh air. Because the looming murder charge now, she's been exonerated from that. But, life still goes on. We're fighting this corruption. It's a battle. We will ultimately prevail. We will win. We've got the truth on our side and an incredible body of lawyers who are passionately and enthusiastically involved in this case. So we go forward and with strength and, faith, and this will get resolved. It's going to be a while, but it will be resolved. And Karen, everything that most people have a sense about in terms of the corruption in Norfolk County will be exposed.
So first, right off the bat, how does he feel about this? Does he feel like they're going to be successful? How confident is he? Uber confidence, supreme confidence, right? And he's got a lot of good reason for that. They've already been successful in the past. They have a really great group of lawyers led by the lawyer they think is the best lawyer in the world. And why not, for the results that he's produced for Karen Reed and her family? They trust Alan Jackson implicitly. We're going to hear that throughout this interview, but he's very confident. And they've really used this. I got to be careful about how I say this, because I was going to say narrative, but that sounds negative. They've used the justice behind this, right? The cause behind what they're doing to shine a light, to get rid of corruption, to not just protect Karen Reed, but protect everyone else, which is what most lawyers and people who love the Constitution and love America and love our freedom, most of us get behind that cause, right? Because the justice system has to work for the worst of us in order for it to work for the best of us. In this case is so much of an illustration of that, in dealing with what can really happen if it goes unchecked, right? Supreme power unchecked is going to be corrupted at a certain point. And maybe that's what was happening in Norfolk County. And so now a light is being shined on it, and everybody should care, whether you're in Norfolk County or not, and whether you're even around the country or the world. Like, you should care about this. And that cause is really what is so gripping about this case, and why this saga continues and everybody is so invested in seeing what happens on the other side. And he says, stick with us, because the just cause is going to win. We have truth on our side, and we are going to shine a light on this corruption. It's going to take time, but he also used a word. He's not a lawyer, so I'm not going to read too much into this, but he did use the word resolved. This is going to get resolved. In lawyer speak, that usually means settlement. A resolution of some sort is usually a settlement, but it can also, of course, mean a trial and a verdict and things like that. But will there be some kind of settlement in this case? That's always in the back of my mind. Obviously, in a civil case, 90+% of them settle. Will this be one of the 90+%? It's already a 1-on-1 in so many situations, so maybe this is going to be one of the 10%. What do you guys think about that?
That's our belief. That's our hope. And that's what we're driving toward.
Where's Karen now? What's she been up to since?
Well, Karen travels a lot, and she spends an awful lot of time working with her attorneys, the local civil attorneys here in Boston, and of course, Alan Jackson out on the West Coast. So she's always on the phone, and with the 3-hour difference in LA time, it could be 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and Attorney Jackson is still in the office. So, I mean, her days are full. She has friends, she travels.
So before he gets into her friends and travel, this is basically still her job, right? She is still working on this case. She is still working with the lawyers, with Jackson, with the civil attorneys. And they just filed this huge lawsuit, right? So it's one thing to defend a case. It's another thing to prosecute a case, even on the civil side. And now you're the one with the burden of proof. You're the one trying to find evidence and use discovery to prove your case. It can be very meticulous, very involved. And we know Karen Reed's reputation is she wants to be very involved in her lawyers. With her lawyers, her voice is going to be a loud one in the room. It's going to be an authoritative one in the room. So she's got her work cut out for us because this is a huge case. It's going to take a lot of time. And when it's your life and your case and you're someone like Karen Reed, I could easily see how this could be a full-time job for her just dealing with the current civil cases, even though the criminal case is behind her.
So, I mean, her days are full. She has friends. She travels up north to Florida, Martha's Vineyard, the Cape. And of course, she primarily stays here with my wife and her, you know.
Keeping busy, per se.
Well,
it's good to hear that she has friends and she's traveling to Martha's Vineyard in Florida and whatever, because, I mean, imagine how difficult life was. It was probably so difficult for her to enjoy anything while you have this looming charge over your head that could put you in prison for the rest of your life for something that you know you didn't do. So that's pretty tough. And we've had clients deal with that, and it's really hard for them to enjoy anything. Even if they had great lives or great businesses or great families, like when that is hanging over your head, it's really, really difficult to enjoy anything. And I feel like Reed's family, who've done a lot of interviews, have really helped us understand what that's been like for her and just how brutal that's been. That's going to be a part of the civil case. The damages. Bill Reed, this is just my guess, right? If I was a lawyer on the case, he would absolutely be what we call a before and after witness. What was Karen Reed like before? What was she like during when all this was happening to her? And what is she like after? He would be a very, very key witness in that civil trial.
He's always been.
And I wouldn't give a rip about all the interviews he's done. None of them would have bothered me. I feel like he would answer the same in his deposition as he did in all these interviews. It wouldn't be like impeachment material or anything like that.
In her, you know.
Keeping busy, per se.
Well, she's always busy. She knows this case inside and out, and she's reading all of the legal filings, and she is always in communication with the lawyers, and in a very positive sense in terms of guiding their thinking and listening from their perspective, what the legalities are in terms of the law. So it's an education for all of us.
How vital is Karen's legal team? I mean, would you have gotten to this point without them?
God, no. God, no. First and foremost, Alan Jackson. He's just among a sea of great lawyers. He is one of a kind. His skill set, his passion, he's just inimitable. He's just matchless. And he's a great, great man. And we're so indebted to him for how he's fought tirelessly for Karen. And it's not easy when you're 3,000 miles away and you're traveling and you got jet lag and everything. And plus she's got an inventory of critical cases out there in California and the like. So,
yeah, this is not his only case, right? I know it's hard for people to believe, but this is not his only case.
I mean, I don't know how the man does it. I don't know, but we're grateful for him.
And he talks about that every time. I mean, she asked the question specifically, but he always thanks the lawyers, their tireless work. He mentions the lawyers. He talks about what a good job they do, which again, everybody hates lawyers till you need one. And when you need one, you get the right one and he does a good job for you and he really cares about you, cares about the case and cares about the cause. You love them. I can't tell you. My dad's been a criminal defense attorney for 50 years. I can't tell you how many clients I remember when I was kids. We just had one come in the office the other day. His case was when I was a kid. He met me when I was little. And he's like, hey, I want to see Peter. You know, I remember him when he was a kid. I come out, I meet him, talk to him for a little bit. He watches the YouTube show. And he's like, I remember when you were this big. He's like, your dad is the greatest man I've ever met in my life. Has one of the most profound effects on my life of anybody I've ever met. It's like that really does happen more than you would think. It really does. Not with every client, obviously, and the ones that go to prison sometimes feel differently. Sometimes the ones that go to prison still think he's a lifesaver because of the deal they got, or they were able to get out, or some conditions that they were able to do, or whatever it may be. Like, really good lawyers have this effect on clients. Any of you out there make YouTube videos or start or run a small business? Because those are my two worlds. And I can check both of those boxes. And in both arenas, I'm always trying to improve and perfect my craft. I want to be a lifelong learner. And today's sponsor, Masterclass, is such an affordable yet invaluable tool for this. I was able to watch MKBHD, aka Marcus Brownlee, and learn more about titles and tiles and YouTube and how to put together great content for everyone watching. I learned about creativity and how to personalize every part of my content in ways that make it more digestible and enjoyable for you, which included things like lighting and setup and cameras. It really added a fun twist to what I do here, and it opened my eyes to how I can improve the experience for everyone else that chooses to come hang out with me for hours every week. And on that same site, I was able to learn from Richard Branson and Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx, but she's from Clearwater and went to Florida State. Her dad is a lawyer, knows my dad. Just so many connections there. They're both champion entrepreneurs, which is my favorite topic to learn about these days. And it really made me want to push some boundaries, take some risks, and try things that other people aren't willing to try. Gaining this type of knowledge for $10 a month billed annually feels like cheating. And I do really like to give creative gifts to people, especially when everyone orders whatever they want online immediately. During this holiday season, you can get up to 50% off an annual Masterclass subscription. Just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code so they'll know I sent you. Learn from the world's best to become your best with Masterclass.
I don't think anyone's too surprised by the lawsuit. I mean, some people could have said they saw this one coming. What does your family hope comes from it?
One of the lawyers, I think it was David Yannetti early on, said sunlight is the best disinfectant. And this will be the opportunity to depose many of these folks from the Massachusetts State Police and the like. And without the guardrails provided by the criminal prosecution in Norfolk County. So we are confident. We've got, again, fabulous lawyers, skilled, passionate, and working around the clock. You can be bright, well-trained, but you need a work ethic. And their work ethic is just beyond measurement, really.
Yeah, this was something I learned in law school as well, and something that you learn in life in certain professions, I think more than others, that there's always going to be people smarter than you, that have more natural ability than you, whatever it may be, but nothing is a substitute for hard work. And if you're a hardworking person, you can get ahead, especially in the legal field. Hard work trumps almost anything.
You're feeling really positive about one person in particular who's kind of helping in your case. Can you kind of talk to me about that?
Lost in yesterday's news of the filing by Karen and her team, the 46-page document that's heavily grounded in evidence, the law, and the Constitution, and brilliantly drafted, was the announcement that, and this was in the local papers, that a former federal prosecutor who resigned from his dream job earlier this month and was also, as reported, involved in the federal probe of the investigation conducted by Norfolk County into the Karen Reed matter,
we know where he's going with this, and we'll let him finish, but I really like how he mentions that this guy left his dream job, and that's not hyperbole. So many lawyers, their dream peak job is to be an assistant United States attorney or the U.S. attorney one day. A federal prosecutor is just something different about that. My dad always says that's his favorite job he's ever had. He's been a state prosecutor, federal prosecutor, criminal defense attorney. And he absolutely loved it. Obviously, being his own boss, a lot more money on the criminal defense side, and a lot of reasons you can have your own schedule and whatever. So there's a lot of reasons why you pick different jobs, but there's just nothing more like fulfilling and better than that. That's so many lawyers' dream jobs, to be a federal prosecutor. So many of them stay in that for life. I've got a friend who went to Harvard Law School, like genius, brilliant guy, could probably have any job he wants in the world. He's an assistant U.S. attorney and probably is going to be there for a long time. And so, I mean, there's just That there's a lot of reality to that. It's not just hyperbole like, oh, it's some job. Now he gets to go be the boss. There's a lot more stress and scrutiny and misery to being the district attorney or the state attorney, the elected official and top prosecutor in the county. A lot more comes with that. It's a political position. When you're an assistant U.S. attorney, you're going and getting the bad guys and putting them in federal prison forever. And you're like a white knight. That is a great job. And you have almost no scrutiny. Like almost nobody knows your name when you're an assistant U.S. attorney. But he also mentions that this guy has intimate knowledge about what's been going on in this investigation in this DA's office in the past and how important that's going to be. I think Karen Reed's team is going to really get behind him and really be a positive push to him. But this is where Bill Reed is about to send a message to you in Norfolk County, but to everybody across the world when it comes to how this can affect you like this. You may not think it's going to happen to you, but it can, and this is what you need to do. I love this message by Bill Reed that we're about to hear.
Left his job with the U.S. Attorney's Office and has taken up residence, sold his residence, I believe it was in East Boston, and has taken up residence in Quincy, Mass, and will be challenging Michael Morrissey if he decides to run again for the position of Norfolk County District Attorney. And I can tell you personally, I am heartened by that news because I think this is an individual who probably has a rich perspective of what went on, and to leave his position with the U.S. Attorney's Office to come sell his house and come into Quincy, take up residence so he can be part of Norfolk County to pursue this position of District Attorney for Norfolk County. I couldn't be more thrilled. From what I know of him, I don't know much. I've never met him. I've only seen pictures of him in the local paper, but I know he's from your neck of the woods. He's a native of Lincoln, Rhode Island, graduated from Brown, and I think has his Juris Doctor from University of Wisconsin. So we're just thrilled that the aspect that this man, Attorney Deitch, he's a prosecutor. He comes potentially into this position with prosecutorial experience. I
mean, imagine that. The top prosecutor in your county actually has prosecutorial experience. Wow. I mean, as long as I've been alive, our state attorney has been somebody that was a lifelong prosecutor, right? Was a state attorney in this office and then ends up getting voted in. Was the chief assistant state attorney and ends up getting voted in. Like makes sense, right? Top prosecutor making prosecutorial decisions, being a lawyer, putting the bad guys away. That's the job of a prosecutor. Who do we want to be making the charging decisions and the big decisions in our county? Maybe somebody that has some prosecutorial experience. Maybe somebody that's been in the courtroom themselves, putting the bad guys away, dealing with some high-powered defense attorneys, dealing with the scrutiny, dealing with the pressure of the media and the public. Maybe we want somebody like that, right? But how do we get it? How do we change what's happening? How do we get somebody like Morrissey out and somebody like Deitch in?
He's not a lifetime politician. So I just say to the residents of Norfolk County, get out there and vote. Please take back your government in Norfolk County. Get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote. That's the message. To Norfolk County, but to everywhere else where judges are elected, of course. And when they're appointed by the governor, vote for the governor. It matters. Don't be one of those people. Listen, I don't like to get into politics and debate stuff. And they always want to put out every topic they think is going to be divisive. They never want to talk about, financial issues that could help everybody, or, how we deal with health insurance or medical care or medical bills, or no politicians ever want to talk about that, the stuff that we could all probably agree on. They all want to talk about these issues and use hyperbolic language to get us to fight with each other. Push all that aside. Don't let that make you bitter and just sit on the sidelines when you can actually vote for such important local positions, whether it's judges, whether it's prosecutors like this. Look at the effect one elected official has had on Karen Reed's life and so many other people that have been touched by everything going on here. The same thing can happen if your local prosecutor, your chief prosecutor in your county is elected. Go out and vote. Learn about them and vote. Take back your county, but also take back your judicial system. Who do you want running your judicial system? That's important. And to highlight this in a high-profile case, I love it because it's important for all of us. Norfolk County, it's very important for you, obviously, because you're the example now, unfortunately, in our textbooks. But for everybody else, go see who's elected in your county. Is it good? Do we want to keep it there? Do we want somebody new? And why? And who can we help and encourage to run? And can we rally votes, grassroots efforts? You can make a difference in local elections. And just look at this family. And it's not just this family. So many people were negatively affected by this entire campaign and saga. You can make a difference. Get out and vote. Not just for presidency, right? That's all anybody wants to talk about. For this, I argue in this, maybe I may be exaggerating, but like, I feel like this could affect your life more than who's president. Okay. I really feel like that. Your local judges and prosecutors affect your life probably more than who the president is.
Definitely important.
Yep.
What do you think about the response that this lawsuit just furthers a fuel that this is a conspiracy theory?
I don't know what else they can say. The truth will be told. The truth will come out. And when it does, I don't think there'll be too many surprises. 99.
And that was interesting, right? He doesn't think there'll be too many surprises. We read the complaint. We knew most of what was in there, right? Maybe not their specific theory of how it happened, which they, put out there. But generally speaking, there weren't a lot of surprises. He's like, you guys know a lot of the bad stuff already. I still think there's going to be more we find in discovery that they don't even know about yet. Me and Karen Reed's team, but we'll see.
5% of the population, not only in this region, but in this country, if not around the world, have, after 3.5 years of watching this, 2 trials of what Karen Reed endured, they have a good sense as to what happened. I mean, you can't look at these trials, inverted videos at the Sally Port, John O'Keefe's shredded hoodie that was suggested it was done by when he was left to die on the lawn by being passed over by Karen Reed's vehicle. And yet it was done by a technician at the Massachusetts State Police Lab. All of the witnesses whose testimony was questioned because of recanting earlier testimony that may have gone on during the first trial or in a federal grand jury. People are aware of what's gone on, and it will ultimately come to pass. We will know everything that happened. Justice will be served. There'll be too much of an outcry for justice to just, not be served.
Bill, what do you think is the biggest hurdle?
There will be too much of an outcry for justice not to be served. That's interesting, right? For what are the people going to say? What are they going to be satisfied with? What is the outcome they want?
Justice to just, not be served.
Bill, what do you think is the biggest hurdle for Karen and her team going forward?
Stay healthy, stay strong, and they will. After 4 years this January, they have no quit, as Alan Jackson says, no quit. All the fight in the world, because it's a cause. This is an innocent woman who's been set up, who's been framed. This is a cause for justice. As an attorney, if you can't get behind this cause, you're probably in the wrong profession.
So you really think the biggest hurdle would be mentality and staying strong rather than anything legally?
Know the facts, and argue them skillfully, depose the right people. We'll win. We will prevail. There is no doubt in my mind.
Depose the right people. Who do you think he means when he says depose the right people? Right? It's kind of funny. The way he says it, he's not like snarky. He's not being a jerk. He stands on business. That's what I feel like. Like Bill Reed stands on business. He wants to do the right thing for the right reasons. And that's going to ruffle some feathers, but that's how it is. Get Morrissey out, depose the right people, shine a light. The best disinfectant, the truth.
We'll win. We will prevail. There is no doubt in my mind.
How important has Karen shared this with you? How important it is for her to clear her name?
I think most people see her as being terribly victimized. We know she's been objectified in terms of some of the vile comments by the now disgraced and former trooper Michael Proctor, who has since been fired. Um, Karen lives within her own being. She knows she didn't do anything. I mean, true. I mean, she's lost 2 positions at Fidelity, at Bentley, had to sell her home, lost her vehicle, had to liquidate her 401, right? She's lost a lot. And plus, she's had to face the threat every day that this state was going to put her away for the rest of her natural life. And, you know, when people say, how do you face that? She's a strong woman. You know, my wife and I raised a strong daughter, but what she has become is largely on her own. We're so proud of her.
That's beautiful. You obviously have a long road ahead of you too. After coming out of a long road, really, yeah. The fight continues. How do you guys feel as a family? How do you move forward as a family? What's your advice there?
So this is the message for all of us, right? When we're dealing with tough times, how do we deal with it? Feels like it's impossible to go through what this family went through. Here's his message.
Well, to anybody who finds themselves in a situation, a dilemma that seems unimaginable, I think you have to have faith. I mean, we're a prayerful family. We observe our religion. We're faithful to it. And that's important for anyone. You know, our time on this earth is short. We're all mortal beings. And I think if you have that backbone of faith and trust in the Lord, you will prevail. It'll be sunny again. And it's sunny today. It's getting much better.
Yeah, and I agree with that. My only addition would be prevailing might not always look the same, right? Doesn't mean you're going to win because you have faith. It doesn't mean that you're going to come out on top just because you have faith, right? But good wins in the end, right? And that's kind of the faith in what he's saying and how it's something bigger than yourselves. It's more eternal than yourselves instead of your mortal being here on earth. And that's how they have gotten through it. Their faith in the Lord to protect them, keep them together, and have that backbone. And to me, it's like that shines through in every single interview he gives and how important that is to him and how that's what keeps them going when it's like tumultuous. And it's easy for us to look back now and be like, oh yeah, they won. Look at how great it is. Now she's famous. She's a brand. She gets to have a movie, all this, whatever. But there were some dark days. It did not always look like this, but they have been consistent throughout. This is not a different Bill Reed. This is not somebody who's now looking back and being braggadocious and being like, I told you so. No, this is how he's been the whole time. The confidence has been there, the faith, the hope, the love, all of that has been there the entire time when they didn't win the first trial, legally speaking, all the way through until now.
Anything else that you wanted to mention that I haven't asked you?
Thanks for the coverage. Thanks for the exposure. Thank you for keeping, this situation in the news. And
that's obviously important to them, right? The public support is incredibly important to them. And it's helped them. It's helped keep the engine running, keep the momentum moving forward for them so it doesn't get forgotten about. So that there's so many things still coming, right? And I think this race for district attorney is one of them. If this would have just kind of gone away and Karen Reed and her family faded into the background, and then later there's an election, maybe people forget. Maybe people don't show up to vote, and everybody knows Morrissey's the DA, so they just vote for the guy who was there if he were to run again. But they see his name on the ballot. That happens a lot. And it's like, oh, we'll just vote for that guy. No. They want to make sure this stays in the news so they can continue to have a positive effect on Norfolk County and beyond.
Well, I suppose it's hard to not be in this news. I mean, the Karen Reed saga she's a brand now. And we love her so much, and she's the most courageous individual I've ever met. Just proud to be her father. As my wife.
And I know there are people that hate Karen Reed and think all this done for show, for money, whatever. But like, as a dad who has a daughter, to feel this way about her as an adult would be an amazing thing.
Wife is proud to be a mother.
And she is fighting for not only herself, but people before her and after her.
Well, absolutely. There are people likely incarcerated who were not fortunate or blessed, as we have been in this case, to fight for the truth, to identify attorneys such as Alan Jackson, who can rally to the cause. And they're facing incarceration every day, and maybe some are facing no hope. So to the extent we prevail, and we will prevail, that provides hope to those who maybe do not have any hope. And for those who are in the system right now and those who might be intended to do harm to innocent victims, it would be a wake-up call. Be careful. You know, there'll be another Karen Reed. And hopefully, all right, he or she will have the resources that Karen has.
I do have one more question.
So that was a very interesting comment too. It's like, there's going to be another Karen Reed. This is not over. It's going to happen again. People are still going to do this. Hopefully they have the resources she has. Hopefully they're able to identify Alan Jackson. It's like, this is a group effort forever. But once we see something like this, we in America are so quick to forget things from happening. And it's not just this case. We've seen it in some other cases we've covered together. We need to remember there's a pretty big community and a growing community interested, if you want to call it true crime. I never like really calling it a true crime industry. I like calling it justice. We're big fans of justice. That's the industry we're in. That's what we care about. That's what we learn about. Let's not forget that. Let's stand for justice. Let's call out injustice. Let's stand up and speak out against injustice. And that's what I think this really is. And we can all do it in different ways, right? It's not just one lawyer. It's not just Alan Jackson who's got to take every single case. It's not just one community. It's not just one witness. We all do the right thing, and we all get justice for the people that deserve it.
Your message maybe to anyone listed in that lawsuit, what would that be? What would you want them to know?
They already know it. I have no message to them, nothing whatsoever. The document speaks for itself.
What a perfect answer, right? Like, this guy's ready for his depo. That's a perfect answer, because if he would say, I hate you, you're scum of the earth, you got what's coming to you, which again, you could probably deal with that in a depo too, but that's a harder answer to deal with than this. I have no message for them.
It's rich in details. The granular is thick. If you wade through it, you can't help but come away with a pretty good impression of what happened.
And any message for the O'Keefe family?
We're fighting for Karen, but also parallel to that fight is getting answers as to what happened to John O'Keefe. So you can't look at this as just one outcome. If we're successful, as I believe we will be, then we will ultimately know what happened to Boston police officer John O'Keefe. So that's how I look at it. I hope they do too.
Well said. I've got nothing else for you unless you have something.
No, good. Thank you.
Thanks.
How about that to end, right? One more message. I think we're going to find out what happened to John O'Keefe at the end of this lawsuit. Do you guys agree or disagree? I've always felt like it's going to be really hard to prove because of how bad the investigation was, but I mean, the Reeds obviously know a lot more than I do about the background, the information, the discovery that exists. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. That's all I got. Let me know what you thought in the comments, what other questions you had. And, that's all we got for this time, but we'll be back soon. Peace. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok. And don't forget to check out the Lawyer You Know podcast featuring new episodes every week. And if you have a case that you want to personally talk to us about in your life, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, truck accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, The Lawyer You Know.